Hey y'all, good morning. I am just popping on here while I'm driving. So if I'm not looking into the camera, that's why. But today's message, y'all, I just wanted to come on here and say, be careful how you let people affect you. And I say that because I realized, like, when did I become such this fearful person? Like, scared of so many things and have anxiety or become so anxious over like the smallest things. When did I get like that? And I realized it's because people around me, family members and stuff, and it's no shade to my family, or anything like that, but I noticed like a lot of my fear have come from those who I am surrounded by. And I'm just like, they have projected a lot of their fears onto me, because I've never been the type of person where I'm like, oh, I'm so scared, I'm so scared. I'm the type of person who is like a little daredevil. I've always been like a little daredevil. So I was like, I'll try everything for the first time. And to be clear, it's not drugs or anything like that. I'm not going there for y'all mind go all the way left. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying like adventurous stuff. Like when I went to Jamaica, if you have the privilege of following me on Instagram, and that's not in an arrogant way, oh my gosh, I hate coming to do YouTube because you have to specify every freaking thing, and it's quite annoying. But and I feel like it's so petulant and so like just tedious to just have to overly explain yourself so people won't get things confused. But anyways, yeah, so I'm talking about in an adventurous way. Like, if you know me, then you know I like to just try stuff. Like I said, like when I was in Jamaica and we jumped off of a cliff, and my mama was like, you do some dangerous SHIT. You just do some dangerous stuff. And she was like, I would never do that. And then it dawned on me, like, that's where a lot of my fear has come from, because exactly, I'm not a fearful person. I'm somebody who, when I was 11, 12 years old, when we had Six Flags here in Houston, now we still have Six Flags, but I think it's in San Antonio, so you have to drive like 3 hours to get there. But when it was smack dab located here in Houston, and it was a big ordeal, me and my brothers and some of our neighborhood friends, we would all have season passes. And like I say, I was the youngest one of the bunch, so I'm around older people who just were not afraid to do anything. Like, they was living life in their teenage years. So when I would go with them to Six Flags, I would be on all the dangerous rides. Like, if my mama knew the rides that I was on, they would be like, why did y'all take my baby on this ride? But I would be the one to be like, oh, let's go again, let's go again, let's go again. And we would spend almost the whole day on one ride, because I'm like, oh, I love this ride. And it was never any fear in me. And so now that I've become an adult, and yes, don't get it twisted, like the world itself has taught me to be very cautious about certain things, to be cautious about my surroundings, to be cautious about, looking in my rear view mirrors and stuff like that, my main mirror, to see who's behind me, who's driving near me, and if it looks like somebody is following me, right? And that's just being everyday cautious. That's just not really being fearful, but it's just being protective over yourself and your livelihood. So that's a different thing, and that's just the state of the world we live in. So that's just something that should be normalized and normal to do that. But like when it comes to just being around other people and being scared and fearful of how they're going to perceive me and stuff like that, I don't know where that came from. And then like I said, it just hit me that, oh my gosh, it comes from this, because that person is driving so crazy. But yeah, it just comes from people feeding that to me, to be scared and to be fearful and to not trust people and to not do that. Again, I'm not going to blame this on just like family members and associates that I've been around, but for the most part, I'm like, it had to steer from somewhere. And I do take accountability of myself, because it has been life experiences. That's what I was saying. Like, granted, it has been personal life experiences where it's just like my wall is also up, but my wall being up shouldn't coincide with fear. fear of meeting new people, in fear of getting out of my comfort zone, in fear of facing my anxiety of being around people, and conquering social anxiety and things of that sort. So it's just like I have a lot to unravel with myself, and a lot to work out and to get out of, because it is just, I'm just like, when did I become this person? When did I get to this place? Life be life, but when did I get to this place where I'm fearful of a lot of things now? Like, I'm fearful of going out and having a good time, because I know in the process it's going to cause me to meet new people. And yeah, it's just like that fear of alignment with people. And again, I have to know how to separate fear from just normalcy. Like, it's normal and it's okay to have my guard up. And it's okay to be cautious of other people coming into my space and being in my presence, and vice versa. It's okay to have that caution sign up, but not out of fear, just out of protecting my space, but not mixing that and intertwining that with fear. You get what I'm saying? Like, I hope y'all understand what I'm saying, because I don't know how to break it down any more clear. But I'm doing the best I can as is. But yeah, it's just like, when have I started operating from this place? When have I ever started operating from this space? Like, what? Like, no, Jazzy, no, Jazz girl, no. But yeah. And I was about to say no Jezebel, but then I know people here, y'all go, Jezebel. I didn't say nothing about no Jezebel. Don't play with me, fine. Reach through this phone. Don't play with me. I didn't say nothing about no Jezebel. Jazzy Bell. That's a name that one of my older co-workers gave me when I worked in the hospitality industry for the hotel. She used to call me Jazzy Bell. And I had to tell her, all right now, don't get that confused with Jezebel. Make sure you saying Jazzy Bell, girl. And so she just started calling me that. But yeah, as I say, Jazzy Bell, let's get it together, girl, young woman, young lady. But, because, yeah, I'm just like, girl, what? I ain't never operated from this space. And I guess, too, it all came from also, like, with my social anxiety and just my worries of how people perceive me. Again, it comes from experiences where it's like people they have me confused, and they think I'm this stuck-up person, and then when they meet me, it's the opposite. And I used to get accused, like in college, a lot, like, oh, you got a staring problem and stuff like that. And I guess that's where my fighting came in, because people would just be like, have an issue with me for no reason, like. And I had to even work on that. Like, I didn't realize I was staring at people. I know I'll be looking at people. Like, one of my homegirls, yeah, they would be talking about people, and I would, like, wait a few seconds or whatever, and then I'll kind of gradually look, and they thought that I was the one talking about them, and it wasn't even the case. And then half the time I was looking at people, I would just be like, oh my gosh, that person is so pretty, or I really love what she got on, or her hair is slayed, or whatever the case may be. And it was always out of kindness, but people can misinterpret that due to their own insecurities or whatever the case may be. So they would always find an issue with me. So it's certain things that I had to work on. And I guess just with me having to do that and learning that about myself from other people, it just kind of put me in a place where, like, I would be like, damn, sorry, but that's how I would really feel. Like, damn, people, like, what? Like, it's just it amazes me how people can just misinterpret somebody and misconceive somebody from just like the smallest, most petty things. And I'm just like, or juvenile things, I'll just be like, what? So it kind of really made me put a guard up. And it's just not only that, just people disliking me, like I said, just because they felt like, oh, I was privileged to live a certain lifestyle, or I'm this spoiled brat. They would just think I'm this spoiled brat because anytime I needed something, I was able to get it and to retrieve it from my parents. And they don't even know, what battles my parents was facing on the other end to even get me the money that they got me at one point in time. And it's not my place for me to go and tell them and to break down to them, my life scenario or this, that, and the third, for them to feel comfortable in their skin, or for them to feel like, oh, well, she's a normal human being. Like, oh, well, she does have it hard or go through hard times, and her family do go through hard times, and stuff like that. That's none of your business, because you're going to believe what you want to believe about me regardless if I share my personal experiences or family experiences. It doesn't matter. Like, you're going to feel that anyway, and I shouldn't have to do that to make you feel comfortable about yourself. I shouldn't have to break down myself or exploit my family for the sake of your comfortability. Like, are you kidding me? No. Like, you can kiss all of my rear end. So just dealing with dumb things like that and asinine stuff and bull crap like that, I just built up a guard. But again, I think I let it get too far, and I started, combining my guard being up with just fear. Fear of being able to talk to people, fear of being able to share my experiences with genuine people who have done nothing to me for me to be like, oh no, I'm not comfortable enough to share these things with you. I have come across some decent people. It's been a while though, to be honest. So I do have, again, we all have the right to have our guards up and to be protective of the information we share with people and the information we choose not to share with people. We have that right, but it shouldn't be caught up or mixed up into fear, coming from a place of fear as to why we're not sharing those things. Because also withholding certain information from people, or just not being our full selves, it may prolong someone from their healing process. We're here to help people, whether we realize it or not, whether we acknowledge it or not. We all can help someone outside of our families in a greater way. We can be an impact in a greater way, in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, I just had to think about that and just really recollect my thoughts on that, and just be like, dang, why did I become so fearful of this? Why did I become so fearful of being myself? Why did I become so fearful of just being, just living and just sharing my truth when the time is right, So yeah, I'm just like, dang, it's out of fear, for real. Like, a lot of stuff is from fear, and a lot of stuff is from others projecting their fear on me. Like, even when I went to California, my mama was like, I don't think you should go. Like, she's the one who even told my uncle to open up that opportunity for me. But then when it came around, it hit her that this is real, and it hit her that, oh my gosh, like, you're really leaving in such a fast pace. and so it was like a fear of letting me go, which she struggles with a lot. Like a fear of letting me go and letting me fly and spread my wings. Even in my 30s, it's just like, lady, you can't. And it's like, you don't know what they have in California, you don't know the people, you don't know, like shootouts and all this kind of stuff. Like, first of, girl, why is your mind going there? And then you projecting that onto me. And then when I start to live in that manner of way, in fear and just always overthinking every single thing in my life out of fear, then it's a problem with y'all. But y'all the ones who have projected this onto me, because I wasn't like this before you started talking and saying all of these negative, horrific things to me. So it's just like, come on now. And then when I start to live my life in such fear, then it's like, oh my gosh, you worry way too much. You do this and you do that. Oh my gosh. Then I start to irritate them, because it's like, everything I say, where you going? What's this? Where you headed? This and that. And operate from that space, then it's a problem. Oh, you ask too many questions. You do this. So it's like, but you put this in me. And now it's a problem that's how I live my life. So it's just like, you got to be very cautious of what you let filter into your mind and into your brain. And when you hear people start to be negative about certain things, you have to stop them in their tracks, because they're projecting stuff on you, and then they'll get mad at you in the process for living your life in a fearful way. So you just have to be very careful. That's why I say, like, people can really irk my nerves, including family, for real, because a lot of stuff that I've taken on literally comes from them. And then they get mad or get an attitude when I start to live in the way that they've projected onto me. So I'm just like, yeah, I just have a lot of work to do to get back to that childlike Jasmine, that childlike mind frame of just being fearless and just knowing that I can really take on the world, whatever's thrown my way, whatever curveballs, Lord forbid anything traumatic or tragic happens in my life, because I don't want to experience any more of that. Not right now. Maybe in about 20 years I'll be okay, but and I'll have someone, my husband or something, to lean on in those times. And then if I don't, at least I'll be so in depth with my relationship with Christ, even more, to where I'm just like, I know I can just solely depend on him. But right now I'm just like, I'm still not quite there yet. I'm getting there, and that's my truth. But I look forward to the day where I can get there, and where I'm just like, okay, Lord, it's just me and you. If you don't provide me with a husband or whatever the case may be, then it's just me and you. It's just us. It's just us, boo. It's just us, Dad, Heavenly Father. But yeah, so Lord forbid anything happens. But it's just like, yeah, like I have some work to do to get back to that state, because it's just, this is not good. This is not good. I'm like, why have I become like this? And yeah, I just had to do some digging and some searching on that, because it's just like, I was never like this. I'm very like I say, I will jump from a swing that's attached to a bridge all the way into some deep water. Or even when I was in Jamaica, they had this thing, it was called the rabbit hole. Like, it's literally called the rabbit hole because it's so small, like a rabbit hole. Like, you know how rabbits go into their houses or whatever, and it's a small, like, they dig these little holes to find their houses, like to create their houses. And so in Jamaica, they have, like, you have to climb these mountains and rocks and all this kind of stuff to even get to it. And then when you get to it, you kind of like walk down a little bit, and then you're at the rabbit hole. And yeah, so we jumped down a rabbit hole. I didn't even know what I was jumping into, because Jamaica is so rocky. And it's like everywhere you go in water, you have to be so careful and cautious of banging yourself, your head, your knees, any type of your body part into these freaking rocks. And they're so unexpected. You don't know when you're going to come across a rock underwater. So it's really like, I don't know how I did it, or any of us did it, but we all did. So we jumped down the little rabbit hole, and I didn't know what was expecting, like what I was expecting or what was awaiting me down there. I just did it. And sure enough, it was a rock, but it wasn't a rock until we got like where we had to swim under this underpass, and then it was like a rock right there, so you have to be very careful. But even that, like, my mom was, that's what I said, going back to my mom, I was like, you do some dangerous SHIT, but to me it's fun. Like, to me it's adventurous. I'm a very spontaneous person. I'm very adventurous, and I will experience life at least one good time. That's what I said. Like, I'm gonna do the unexpected at least one time in my life. So yeah, I've always been like that. And going back to the roller coaster rides, I would get on, I don't know what they call it in different states. Like in Georgia, they have a Six Flags as well. But I don't know if they call this ride the same thing. Like, we would call it the Dungeon Drop. And it's like a ride that takes you almost 400 feet in the air, and you just sit there in the air, and then they'll like play mind games with you, and they'll be like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and you think they're gonna count down all the way to 1, and they'll just drop you right at 5. And so your heart is like out your body, but you still okay, but you going like all the way, they just drop you so fast. And so I would do rides like that and stuff like that. And my niece and my nephews, they're the same way. Like, they don't fear anything, but it's that childlike state of mind, fearless, because God created us to be fearless and to live in that. But you know, when we get accustomed to the world and truly see things as they are as adults, we let fear creep in. And it's up to us to take ourselves out of that layer by layer, and to peel back from that fear layer by layer, because it can really take a toll on us. And as a witness and sharing my testimony of fear, it has not been good for me at all. Like, fear has caused me to be restless at night sometimes. Even now, I've caught it up on 4 days of rest, because when I was at the Airbnb, again, my mom calls me right at 9 p.m. and just like put all this fear in me. I was doing just fine. Like, mind you, I was asleep. I had dozed off and took a whole nap, and when I woke up, it was 9 o'clock. And typically I'll go out there by myself, and I'll put the little lock on the gate on the outside or whatever to protect myself. I'll put the lock on the outside of the gate, and then come in the house, set the alarm, lock the screen door, and all kind of stuff. I know how to protect myself, and I was over there by myself, so I can get how she was worried, but don't put that worry on me, because I was doing just fine. And so she's like, go put the lock on the door. And then when I get inside the house, she's like, what's going on? It's something. Why this camera not moving? And she just frantic for no reason. And so I'm getting into it with her, like, what is your problem? Calm down, because you projecting and putting fear in me that was not even in me. Like, I was so upset about that. I'm like, that was not even in me. What are you doing? And then she got an attitude, because now I got an attitude with her. But you did this. I was doing just fine. You called me right when I'm supposed to be going to sleep and getting ready to prepare myself to get back to this summer program, this summer camp tomorrow. You called me putting all this fear in me, talking about fussing at me about go put the lock on the gate and get up and do this and do that, and what's going on with the camera, because it's a camera on the outside of our property, and so she can literally monitor everything. And so she's like, I don't see the lock on the gate, and why this camera not moving? Where you at? Why is just now saying that you just get in the house? And I'm like, but none of this was on my mind before she called. I was not in a fearful state of mind until she called. And then from that point on, the rest of the time that I was there, then you done already bombarded me. You, my daddy, and my uncle, y'all done already took 2 days away from me, because y'all done bombarded me and doing pop-up shops. Like, y'all got something to sell, because the Airbnb was blocked out for a whole week. Y'all picked a fine, inopportune time while I'm there to come and put up curtain rods, when you had a whole week to do so, because you personally blocked out a whole week, because she was going to do something for my nephew who just graduated from 8th grade. She was going to do something for him at the Airbnb, but that ended up not happening. She changed her mind, and that ended up not happening. And so the Airbnb was just free, so I took the opportunity to use it. But it was blocked out 4 days before I got there. Why would you choose that time to come? So I was already irritated about that, and now you putting fear on me on top of that. So I didn't get no rest for even my extended time that I stayed there. Because they bombarded me, I added 2 or 3 more days to my stay, and I was restless, because now it's like, oh my gosh. And that place is so peaceful, y'all. So I was very disturbed by that, and I was very knocked off everything that I went over there to do, to get away from them, to get my peace of mind, to meditate and all that. All of that was thrown off by that simple thing. So I'm just like, people will project everything on you, but you have to be strong-minded to not let that get to you, and to not let their fear control you, because that was so unfair to me. Now that I think about it, and I'm not going to get upset, I'm going to try my best not to stir up those emotions of how I felt at that time, but that was just very upsetting. And people will really do that to you. They will put all of their fears on you, and then get mad when you start to live a fearful life. So just be careful and cautious. The moral of the story of what you allow people to feed you, of what you allow people to project onto you, because it's just crazy. Really, for real, that's crazy. That is just wild. Simply wild. What? No wonder this is how I got here to this point. It's really been just people putting stuff in my ear and feeding stuff into my brain to think this way, which later on comes out in your actions. And sometimes we get so deep into it, we don't even realize it until moments like this, where I'm just like, what? Wow. What the freak? Are you kidding me? Yeah, no, we got to change this. We got to change this. And fear is something that's always going to creep in. It's not going to just majestically leave because you want it to. It's going to forever be something constant that you're working at, and constantly telling yourself, no, 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 this is not true. This is not true. Like, you have to program yourself to believe that certain things are just not true. And that's a way for you to peel back that fear. But this has been a journey, and I have to fix this for real, for sure. So again, that's why I'm single, because it's just like, I know I have a lot of work to do, and I'm enjoying figuring these things out, as crazy as it is, and as just surprising and wowing as it is for me to realize where everything steered from, where everything came from, where did this derive from, right? It's a beautiful journey to now be discovering those things, and just being like, yeah, I take accountability and hold myself accountable for certain things, but I also realize a lot of this was fed to me. A lot of this was unfair to me. Now, when my best friend passed in 2019, it was a lot of fear. Again, that's me taking accountable, because I put a lot of fear in myself. When I realized that she passed away in her sleep, granted, almost everyone wants to pass away in their sleep, right? That's like the most peaceful way to go out. But at the same time, it made me scared to sleep. Like, I put fear on myself to sleep. I was very restless. Oh, and then I was staying by myself. Even though my cousin was living at the time, I was still by myself. I still went to sleep at my house in my own apartment complex by myself, in my own apartment unit by myself. Even though, yeah, I could have just went to his house or whatever and spent the night on his couch or in his extra bedroom, because he had a 2-bedroom. I only had a 1. And I could have done that, but I was like, I'm not going to interrupt his space because of my feelings. So I didn't do that. But at night, I was not going to sleep. And of course, I didn't share that with anyone, because it wasn't going to do anything but make them worry. But I was not sleeping because I was afraid that I would not wake up just like she did. So that lasted for a long time. Like, for me to still be here right now, I can honestly say that it's nobody but God. I don't even know how I sustained that, because it was just like, when you don't sleep, that can cause a lot of stuff. Like, it can cause a lot of confusion, brain fog, all kind of stuff. You just are discombobulated. And so I don't know how I made it through, like, that first year of her passing. That first year, I was really like that, for real. And it really took, like, a lot of prayer for me, and to just fall on my knees and be like, Lord, please allow me to rest today. And when I say, like, I was tired and drained and depleted, y'all, I told y'all on probably like 20 videos ago, maybe 50 videos ago, how I was so tired and exhausted at one point. I literally left my house keys and my car keys, my mailbox keys, everything was together on my keychain. I left them in my door, my apartment door, on the outside of my apartment door. That's what I'm saying. When you lack of sleep and stuff like that happens. And I did it on more than one occasion. And my mom just so happened to pop up on me one time, and she thought I had left my keys in the door that day, that morning, because she knew I knew she was coming to drop me off some towels that she had bought me. But that was not the case. I left those keys in there overnight. And then the crazy part is, I heard, like, the workers that worked there, like the maintenance people, I heard them knocking on my door, but I didn't know why. And I was just that tired. I heard them knocking, and I was like, I am not getting up. Like, they can leave me alone. Like, my mind frame was like, please leave me alone. Y'all are getting on my nerves, banging on my door. And I was not getting up for them. And that's what they was trying to tell me the whole time is, girl, ma'am, young lady, your keys are in your door, ma'am. And yep, that happened on more than one occasion. But that's what happens when you're restless, when you're worried, when you're fearful, when you're not trusting God, when you're taking on these burdens and these things by yourself, on your own, when you think that you are more powerful than God, and when you put fear in place of God, those things happen. That's why I said, literally, by the grace of God, He's the only reason why I'm here, because anybody could have came in my apartment and did something to me, regardless of my cousin being right across from me or not. anything could have happened. And that would have been even crazy because he would have blamed himself. Like anything could have happened to me. But thank God he covered me many a times. So yeah, y'all, just be very careful and cautious of how far and how deep you let this get, and how people project things on you. Just be careful. Just track that as you go. Just track yourself and check yourself in those moments. Like, why am I, hold on, girl, hold on, sir, hold on, my guy, talking to yourself, hold on, my guy, this is not what's up. This is not okay. This is not what we do. This is not how we live in fear. The Lord does not want us living in fear, because he expects us to trust him enough to not live in fear. So yeah, but I am here now at summer camp, baby. I am, well, I'm like 3 minutes behind, but I know it's because somebody's going to be there to get the kids, but I should still be on time. But got a little late start getting out today, but I'm here now, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off, y'all. Love y'all much, mean it, and we'll talk soon. Have a great week, and yeah, see y'all later. Bye. Bye, y'all. Bye.